HBO's Game of Thrones franchise is growing steadily. The second season of House of the Dragon has just ended, and next year we will be getting 6 episodes of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and the third season of House of the Dragon is set to premiere the year after that. Meanwhile, despite the cancellation of a few projects, such as the prequel series Blood Moon and the sequel series Snow, the extended network of shows seems to be taking off, with a veritable slew of live-action and animated television shows in the works. In unrelated news, it has been over 1300 years since A Dance with Dragons was released. At any rate, I am not here to complain about that. The winds of winter, or lack thereof, notwithstanding, I am here to review the second season of House of the Dragon. Reception to this season has been mixed, to say the least. The last episode in particular drew very polarized responses, with some people even going as far as to label it another Game of Thrones Season 8. Is that an accurate comparison? Not really, no. To give a very broad review, I would say that the second season is a definite downgrade from the excellent Season 1 of House of the Dragon, though it certainly did have its moments. Let's get into it more specifically, shall we? The second season of House of the Dragon continues pretty much where the first season left off, with the Targaryen civil war beginning, the Black faction rocked by a tragic death, and the Green faction pretty much with a good portion of the power of the time in their hands in terms of dragons and men. This season basically has 3 main storylines. Rhaenyra fighting desperately to even the odds, Daemon battling his own inner demons in the bowels of Harrenhal, and inner conflict within the ranks of the Greens. I like to think of myself as a kind-hearted and optimistic person, so in cases like these, where I can think about the positives and the negatives in pretty much equal measure, I like to talk about the positives first. The production values of this show are incredible. We do not have the exact numbers for the budget of the TV show, but it is most likely somewhere around $160 and $200 million. And you can see where the money went in every single still. The music, the cinematography, the VFX, it's all great. Especially the dragons, who all look unique and awesome in their own lizardly ways. I cannot for the life of me think of a single bad performance, except maybe Sonia Mizuno's Mizaria, though even in that case I think it's more of a writing problem than it is an acting problem. In particular, I was blown away by the performances of Tom Glencarney's Aegon, Abukar Slim's Alan of Hull, and Archie Barnes' Oscar Tully. Glencarney did a great job depicting Aegon's pain and suffering after Aemon's attack. I have to be honest, as originally I had not thought much of Selim's Alan. In the books, Alan is said to have been much more charismatic and prideful. But after the last episode, I completely changed my mind and understood where the actor was going with this. Archie Barnes also demonstrated some good range, especially in light of his relative youth, somehow managing to hold his own against Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen. Okay, now for some points of criticism. The biggest issue with the season is the pacing. Very little plot-wise actually happens across these 8 episodes. Yes, I know that it was supposed to be a 10-episode season. That doesn't make the pacing any better. Now, I don't actually think the story that House of the Dragon is trying to tell could have been, say, a 3-season story, unless the pacing was pushed too far in the opposite direction. However, it seems as if somebody was trying to see if they could get 5 seasons out of this story, which is way too much. House of the Dragon is going to end up being 4 seasons long, it is now being confirmed. This should not be a problem, as long as the pacing of Season 3 is nothing like this. Barely any plot lines were actually concluded in a meaningful manner. This brings us back to the other problem, the ending. Simply put, I get where a lot of the frustration with this ending is coming from. Episode 8 has had some very good writing and some very bad writing, but it just wasn't designed to be a season ender. And this is clear. This is just not a particularly good place to leave people hanging for another 2 bloody years. I guess we will see if A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is enough to keep audiences patient while they wait. The other issue is the writing, which is very mixed. Sometimes the writing is great, like with Alan's conversation with Corlys in episode 8, or Corlys's grief over losing Rhaenys, or the events of the Red Sowing, or some of Daemon's more interesting hallucinations at Harrenhal. And other times it's downright idiotic, with scenes like Alicent sneaking into Dragonstone or Rhaena roughing it in the Vale for days without anyone looking for one of the most important people in Westeros coming to mind. In general, the writing is a step down from the previous season. Hopefully this is fixed by season 3. So, in my opinion, while the second season of House of the Dragon does suffer from significant flaws, it is not really as bad as it could have been. It is merely decent. But it could have been so much more. Now, time for some other news. I am going on a vacation, so I won't be back next week. I will be back soon, however. Thank you for watching.